Here is my Squirmy Wormy variation, tied with most of my materials from around here in the house rather than something that I bought at the fly shop. Okay, first thing I want to show you, this is the box of my Angelina. I bought this fiber from an Etsy seller. It did not come in a box like this. I actually had this box. So I took all of them out of their little individual plastic bags, put them in this box. I got a package of 15, I believe, different colors for less than $20, which is a good price. What I'm going to take, a little bit of this yellow, mix the yellow, and with this dark blue right here, take a little bit of the dark blue, put the two of them together, and you can already see that it's looking more greenish just having that blue sitting on top of it. Maybe just a little bit more of the blue. I'm doing this on my phone because my camera's already set up to record my tying, so I'm holding it in one hand, not working very easily. So I'm going to take these two fibers, the yellow and the blue, pretty colors, and I'm going to mix them together. I'm just going to pull on the ends of it and pull and pull and get them to mix together, and I'll do this and I'll show you back what it looks like. I'm just mixing it together, and in the end it's going to look green. See this? This made a nice clump, and you can see the blue sparkle and the yellow sparkle, but all together it's got this green look. So there we go. So this is Angelina fiber, and you can find this online. It's at the fly shops. It's a whatever the company is that makes ice dub. It's the same company, but they call this ice wing, and it's basically the same thing as ice dub, except it's longer. Now I'm going to use just a little bit of this. Let me pull it apart and I'll show you. So I'm only going to use about this much, not very much. That should be plenty. Okay, y'all. I'm going to dress the hook first. I'm starting here near the eye, and just going to wrap all the way down to the bend of the hook. I'm not being too careful. There's a few gaps. You can see the metal of the hook through it. But since I am going to be putting yarn on the middle of the hook, I'm not as worried about that as I might be ordinarily. Okay, so I'm down at the bend of the hook. The barb is right there, so I've stopped right at that point. Oops. Clip off. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie in one of these little tentacles. Now I cut off one of the two of the tentacles from this toy that I got at the dollar store. Now this is available at fly shops, and different names, Squirmy Wormy, and there's different products by different companies under different names, all with the same intention. But since I had this, I'm using it. I found it for next to nothing. So I'm going to use just the length of the hook. So I'm going to tie it at that point in, and right here at the side, because when I wrap this is going to roll. I'm using some pinch wraps. What did it do? Uh-oh, let me back up here a little bit, just a little. There we go. See what happens if I pull on it too tight? It rolls over to the back. So let me put just one more wrap in that. Put a little bit, and I'm going to lift up on it a little, move it over, and that's gonna. I don't want it to do that, so let me just undo it. Start a little bit farther over here on the side. And I think that might work. And I'm pulling this a little bit. Just tie in. Fix that. See how this really doesn't play nicely. That should be fine. So I'm going to cut off this excess. Pull on it, but don't pull. If I pull too hard and cut it too close, then the silicone stuff will pop back into the thread, and I don't want that. So I'm going to pull it, leave a little bit of a piece there, and that should pop right back exactly where I want it. So there we go. Now I'm going to finish wrapping this. Place this in some more. Come all the way back down to the other end. And put another piece in. It's going to go that way. Doing the same thing, measuring the length from here to here is how long I want it. Now I'm going to put this piece in right here. That's going to be fine. And I'll do the same thing. Pull on it a little bit and just wrap it in. And I'm pulling hard. If I pull too hard, then it wants to roll. Just leave it just a little bit and then just cut it off. When I pulled on it, the part I left on was, just a millimeter maybe. There we go, that's going to be fine. Okay. Now, come back to the other side. Roll it back up before I get too far. Fingers in the way. There we go. And place as much as I can. Come back over here, and I'm going to tie in first thing I'm going to tie in is my Angelina. This is going to work. This is going to be ribbing, but it's going to be like almost ribbing and hackle at the same time, almost dubbing, because these pieces are not all exactly the same length. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this ribbing, this Angelina in right there. And I've got about a 4-inch piece of this craft yarn. Do the same thing. Try that in right there. And then bring my thread down to the other end and leave these pieces in because that's going to give some padding, I don't know what else you would call it, some material on the hook to give it just a little bit of stability there, perhaps would be a good word. Cut this off and trim that back and that. There we go. Now I'm going to wrap the hook. Here we want I want to cover up with the tie-in of this worm on this end, and I'm going to twist this yarn a little bit. I don't want it quite that ribbed. Take this back off and give this yarn a twist as it was trying to separate. The different plies were separating. And you come back around here like I said before. Right at the base of that worm. And I'm holding my finger behind it, just kind of, so I'm letting go as I come around. And you know, that's pattern. Do it over again. And twist twist the yarn. I'm try to keep it as even as I can. And it looks like it's fatter at this end than the other, so I think maybe what I'll do is come back off of it again. I think that's going to be. Now it still needs to be. I need to have. Look at that behind this one time over that. I think that's going to work. Now that covered up the join there for the worm. And back here and around and around. I'm trying to keep this small. I don't want it to be fat. I'm just trying to get it to be just about like so. That's good enough. And back here and tie off the yarn, and look what happened to that, see? Twist it back around. Keep working on that. Hold it in place, but while I tie off the yarn. I think that's going to work. Get that off. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to counter wrap using this Angelina. I'm twisting it a little bit to hold it together because I want this to look like ribbing. Come down one time right at the base, and then another over a little bit. Try to make evenly spaced ribs. That one's not quite as close together as I would like it to be, so I'm gonna there. And that should do it. So I'm going to bring this thread back around and come back toward me this time to be able to tie that in. And we'll just cut this off. Trim this up a little bit. To make a little head, a little bit, just right behind, just wrap it a couple of times right behind the worm. Not going to do that. Now what I'm going to do is just come right, and coming toward me because if it's the opposite way from that wrap, I want to hold that tinsel. It's not tinsel, the Angelina. I'll hold that in, hold in the ribbing. Now, whip finish it. Now, my whip finish tool, my favorite one I've lost. I dropped it somewhere. And when I move the furniture, I will find it. But in the meantime, I had this standard whip finisher. The hook was bent around this way, and I couldn't make it to work. So I got my pliers and I just bent that back up to the top, so this is the same orientation as the whip finisher that I was familiar with. So I'm just going to hold this in place and then just whip finish. Five turns. 4, 5. And there, and that's finished. Now the thing about this is this silicone material will dissolve if you use head cement, like Sally Hansen's or the Super Blues. It's just the nature of the beast. So you need to come up with some good method, and I've heard that some of the UV products work better. And I will try that on one of these worms before I have tied it the next time and see what it does. But in the meantime, you just need to be sure that you have wrapped it very, very securely and not use head cement. And that's it. This is my Squirmy Wormy variation, and it may end up having a name, but that's it for today. Thank y'all. Bye y'all. See you next time.